this last one coming from Wesley Yinpool over at IGN. Sega says its Crazy Taxi Reboot is a AAA game. Sega has called its Crazy Taxi Reboot a AAA game. In December, during the Game Awards 2023, Sega announced new games in the Jet Set Radio, Shinobi, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Crazy Taxi franchises were in development alongside the teaser trailer below. The video shows brief gameplay clips of each of the games set to return. We haven't heard much about the initiative since, but in an article published by the Japan Times, one Sega executive referenced the Crazy Taxi Reboot specifically and called it a AAA game. Takeya Sagawa, who runs Sega's support studio in Sapporo, said, "We're responsible for titles such as Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis, and Hatsune Miku Colorful Stage. In cooperation with the bases in Tokyo and overseas, we are also participating in the development of AAA titles, including Crazy Taxi. At present, we don't have any titles developed independently by the studio, but we intend to do so in the future." Crazy Taxi is a driving game series that first appeared in the arcades in 1999 before ports on consoles such as the Dreamcast saw it enjoy popularity in the home. You play a taxi driver who speeds through the city to deliver passengers to their destinations, performing stunts to earn points along the way. The Crazy Taxi Reboot is one of the first games coming out as part of Sega's bid to revive its legacy franchises, although the company has yet to announce a release window or in which form the games will launch. But Sagawa calling Crazy Taxi a AAA game, perhaps fans can expect something more significant than just a modest return for one of the most beloved arcade games. Adrian, with the most experience with Crazy Taxi on this show right now, how does that make you feel? The arcade game gone AAA.
It terrifies me. This was never the vision for Crazy Taxi. I don't know what they're doing with this, and it makes me nervous. Crazy Taxi was fun because it was a short, round-based arcade game. Whether it was at the arcade or it was at home on a Dreamcast, it was fun because it was simple, but it was just enough challenge that you wanted to keep trying to get better and better and better. I don't know if they're going to try to add like a story mode onto it or an open world onto it or whatever to try to make it AAA. I do not think that is what Crazy Taxi. And when I say I don't think that is what it's for, I don't mean that it's bad that it's simple. I mean that's its strength. Is its simplicity.
Right.
So that that makes me so nervous. Because you're going to get away from what makes Crazy Taxi fun. Because if I have to speed 15 minutes to get to the next level because it's an open world game, I'm going to be pissed. So,
or unless it's like a nice, tight, small open world. So here's what popped in my head. I just had this vision come to me while you were talking. Imagine it's a world. Imagine a world. That for some reason I'm imagining this like world in like the 80s or something, like Vice City basically, and you do control a character and you don't like leave your car at all, like you just stay in the car. But think like 80s Vice City, or like what was that game, Driver, and you just drive around the world and pick up mission. Like it all takes place in your car, but there's more to the world than just being like, oh, a generic city. It's like, oh, I think adding more characters and like some sort of storylines and stuff like that, where you're going from point A to point B, and I guess in the idea of thinking like basing it off Vice City, like that's not a huge world, like you can drive across that map fairly quickly, and so like having something that where it's like a simple, not too crazy large world, but it's like rich with a lot of character and a lot of feeling to it. Like it's not just like a generic city, because that's my experience with Crazy Taxi, and I could be totally wrong. The few times I played it, it's always just like, oh, we're just in a X city, whatever it is, and just looks like kind of like a generic New York City or something like that, in my few experiences with it. So I don't know, I just feel like they could kind of build out a story where it's almost like Driver basically, but something like that. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think that'd be kind of fun, like this add more flair to the world. So it's like, all right, this would be fun to just live in and drive around and experience and go different places and stuff like that. But I don't know.
I guess that would work.
Did you ever play the Driver series? Like Driver on PS1? I think Driver 2 was also on PS1, or maybe that was a PS2 game as well.
I think so. I remember playing Drive 3R.
Drive 3R. What a terrible branding. Just call it Drive for 3. Why make the E the 3?
That's not what it says on the box. It says Drive 3R. Sorry.
Drive 3 or Drive 3R. Yeah. So dumb. Lindsay in the chat does say they need to rename Crazy Taxi to be like Ultimate Uber or something. So good. And they also say, wasn't Simpsons Hit and Run considered AAA? Is that true? Because if that's the case, then yeah, like that along those lines, but just in the Crazy Taxi world, they could get away with something like that.
I guess I would say Hit and Run is a AA that was pushed to AAA because of the IP. If that makes sense. Because The Simpsons is so huge.
Yeah.
Any game that you make featuring them automatically gets that level of recognition. But as a game, it was definitely a AA feeling game.
I mean, in my opinion, any game that is a licensed game, even like Simpsons Hit and Run or any of the other hundreds of licensed games that exist on the PS2, are all AA in my brain, in my book. But yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess there is a certain like love or affinity for Simpson Hit and Run that does kind of like almost push it up into that triple.
It is a great game, but yeah, it's not like it's not on the level of a polish of Grand Theft Auto or something like that.
Right. Exactly.
It's a good imitation, and it's made better because of the Simpsons IP, because you have so much to play with that world. But if you're gonna put, those two neck and neck, it's not really a contest, unfortunately.
Yeah. Not too much, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see what they mean by this. Hopefully we hear, because this is supposed to be the first of all the reboots that are coming out. It's supposed to be the first one they release. It'd be cool if we got something soon, like the end of this year.
Yeah.
That'd be sweet. Like imagine if it came out as like a holiday release or something, fall release this year.
The start of the super game.
Exactly. But we'll have to wait and see. So stay tuned here for those updates, because we'll definitely be talking about it. Thank you so much for watching that clip from our podcast. Remember, if you want to watch the whole episode, the full episode, link will be in the description below. You can click on that and check it out. We got listener questions. We got more news segments. We got what you playing. We got a lot of fun things. So yeah, more than just the news. There's a lot more to the show that you should go check out. So remember, click that link in the description. Check out that full episode.